Tabula and warm greetings from the Reserve Bank of Fiji. I'm Caroline Wangambatha, head of the Financial System Development Team that assists with development work on inclusive insurance in the bank. It gives me great pleasure to share with you our experiences and insights in this area, and I express our gratitude to Access to Insurance Initiative, International Association of Insurance Supervisors, and the United Nations Capital Development Fund for the opportunity to share on this platform. As introduction, Fiji as a small island developing state is susceptible to natural disasters or hazards, which are increasing in frequency and intensity as a result of climate change, and has limited capacity to manage its climate risks. Managing climate-related risks through climate financing is neither cheap nor easy to set up. Estimates show that reducing Fiji's climate vulnerability would cost us US $4.5 billion over 10 years. And if we were to maintain status quo, the cost would be around US $250 million annually, which is around 5% of our GDP. Despite our high exposure, a lot of our people have little financial protection against climate risk disasters. Notwithstanding other financial options available, recent collaboration between the Reserve Bank and key stakeholders have provided an insurance solution linked to risk reduction and preventative activities as a means to reduce the cost of damages from climate change and disasters. Today I will share about our partnership with government, the financial sector, UNCDF, Pacific Insurance and Climate Adaptation Program, and the governments of Australia, India, and New Zealand on the introduction of a parametric insurance for Fiji, which is the first of its kind in the Pacific region. On the introduction of a parametric insurance for Fiji, it was necessary to look at our regulatory framework, which would enable the implementation of the new product and more broadly ensure that this new development would support financial and macroeconomic stability. Under our Insurance Act and the Bank Supervision Policy for insurance, all insurance companies in Fiji, prior to introducing any new product or enhancing an existing one, must get Reserve Bank approval. So under these legislative requirements, the bank approved the parametric insurance product, which it considered as another general insurance product. In addition, the new product also met the eligibility criteria for experimentation in the FinTech regulatory sandbox to further understand parametric insurance as a new product in the market. The sandbox, which exists to facilitate testing of FinTechs, was developed as a guideline issued in December 2019 and currently accommodates 4 other solutions, including new types of payment solutions and personal financial management applications. So what are the processes associated with our regulatory sandbox? Fiji's sandbox guidelines were launched in 2019 to encourage the wider adoption of innovative solutions to foster development and improve managing risks associated with financial stability and consumer protection. There are 4 stages in the sandbox process. The preliminary stage, which involves determining entities that are potentially suitable for sandbox testing according to documented eligibility criteria. The preparation stage involves closely collaborating with potential entities identified in the preliminary stage to determine sandbox conditions, which can include meeting fundamental obligations relating to adequate resources, compliance with relevant laws, redress mechanisms, and an exit strategy. The experimentation stage involves the testing of the solution by the entity within the approved time in accordance with the sandbox conditions. Experimentation allows the bank to collect insights into the performance of the new product and business model that would otherwise be difficult to determine in abstract. And at the final exit and transition stage, depending on the solution, the bank will inform the sandbox entity of any specific regulatory or policy requirements that it would be subject to once it exits based on the outcomes of the testing. Now moving on to our parametric insurance solution in the sandbox. In June 2021, the bank received an application from PCAP, which was in partnership with 2 local underwriters and 2 fintech companies to test its parametric insurance product in the sandbox. At the preliminary stage, the bank assessed the parametric insurance product was a novel one for the Fiji market, with characteristics unlike those of traditional indemnity type insurance contracts. It also had potential to expand insurance coverage and enhance resilience for the underserved communities in the face of extreme weather conditions. The proposed solution is supported by two fintechs, as earlier mentioned, which enabled an electronic platform for reading, recording, onboarding beneficiary details, and a weather, data, and calculating agency. Payouts to beneficiaries of predefined amounts are triggered by specific wind speed and rainfall indicators associated with a cyclone and depends on proximity to its center. At the preparation stage, the bank observed the parametric insurance pilot within a small group of beneficiaries to further examine any risks or issues relating to management of customer satisfaction and perceptions of insurance linked to inherent basis risks, as well as technology-related incidents that would materially impact the pilot outcomes and disbursement payout to beneficiaries. In October 2021, the bank approved the admission of PCAP and its partners to pilot their parametric insurance product with selected agri-based cooperatives across Fiji for a period of 12 months, subject to 7 agreed conditions. These conditions covered the capture of qualitative data from policyholders to gauge the use and satisfaction with the product and impact on risk attitudes and behaviors, how to address technology-related incidents, ensuring the successful disbursement of payouts, and conducting financial literacy training and awareness activities to adequately inform beneficiaries about the product and its risks. And in the experimentation stage, the bank conducted 2 assessments on progress of the solution against the agreed conditions. The assessments were done at the 6th and 12th month terms of the pilot. The bank was able to identify gaps and opportunities to manage key risks and key issues that may impact on the outcome of the pilot. And following its admission into the sandbox, PCAP successfully conducted training for aggregators and key stakeholders, awareness sessions for over 7,000 beneficiaries, and they've introduced new product variants as a response to customer feedback. In terms of underlying technology, the bank was satisfied with performance with no material incidents, while some areas of improvement required in terms of establishing partnerships with relevant meteorological agencies for reliable and timely data to inform quicker disbursements. There were no complaints received during the pilot. However, based on queries by beneficiaries, there was a need to improve awareness on the intricacies of the predefined payout schedule in order to appropriately manage beneficiaries' expectations during major weather events. And at the end of the testing period in November 22, PCAP had satisfactorily met most of the sandbox conditions, but there was no trigger event yet to provide end-to-end testing of the weather data and calculating agency and its integration with underwriters and mobile money payment service providers responsible for the disbursement into wallets. As a result, the insurance solution was compliant with most of the agreed conditions, while an extension of the testing period for 6 months up to May 2023 was granted for further observation. In January this year, heavy rainfall over a 6-day period, particularly in the western division of the country, resulted in a trigger event and a payout of around US $44,000 to 525 beneficiaries, of which 41% were women and 38% were persons living with disabilities. So what are some lessons learned and key takeaways we have from this experience? One, it's acknowledging that climate and disaster risk financing, such as parametric insurance, is still a relatively new subject, which we bankers and financial sector players do not have expertise in. So we need to build knowledge and capacity and create more awareness about it amongst ourselves and stakeholders. Two is that the take-up of parametric insurance and innovative solutions takes time and does not occur overnight due to reluctance by consumers and their lack of awareness of the products offered. And three, from our experience, we've also learned that piloting innovative solutions such as parametric insurance may take a longer than expected duration And this duration depends on how and when the product or solution meets these sandbox conditions. Such modifications, as in our case of the parametric insurance, were necessary to understand the solution impact on the risk profile of the institution, especially since it was a new product for Fiji and the Pacific. 3 takeaways we have from this experience are: 1, that communication is key to ensure that expectations are clear and met. We must all be on the same page. As regulators, we need to ensure that sandbox entities understand their role in order to comply with conditions and reporting requirements. 2, that effective collaboration amongst relevant stakeholders is important, so we are able to successfully design appropriate products which would be sustainable in the long term. And 3, given that sandbox solutions impact the lives and livelihoods of the wider population, that financial literacy for consumers is critical, so they fully understand these new financial products and services. And to conclude, we wish to make 3 points. First is that more concerted effort is needed to advance climate financing work. Progress so far has been positive, but more work is needed. 2, that more strategic partnerships and a collaborative approach are required to develop practical policies and guidelines aligned to development objectives. As policymakers, we must lead this positive change and pave the way for the industry. In this connection, the Reserve Bank remains a committed partner through its financial inclusion efforts in supporting innovation via our sandbox ecosystem, which has allowed the introduction of innovative solutions in the market. And 3, the pilot parametric insurance product has demonstrated the growing interest and demand for such solutions by even the most vulnerable sections of the population. This product was purchased by at least 1,300 target beneficiaries across Fiji in 2021, and this increased to around 2,000 in 2022. The need to strengthen our efforts towards finding other appropriate micro and meso level climate risk insurance products are clear. This will bring about a positive impact on people through reduced borrowing, safeguarding savings and investments, and also especially lowering our dependency on limited government funds to recover from the impact of climate-related events. The Reserve Bank would be happy to share more information on our experience. We hope this presentation today has been informative, and we thank you all for listening.